God damn it, what just happened? You hear me?
Yep.
Okay, it just went fucking crazy. Told me I have to be legal and tell them I'm recording them. All right, start recording, OBS.
I hear a fan.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You still hear it?
Yeah.
I think it's coming from your end. I'm not picking up anything on my end.
No, definitely coming through you. It's cool. Don't worry about it. I can deal with it. I'm not recording. Go ahead.
Okay. This guy. All right. All right. 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to the Dog Check podcast. I'm your host, Chandler Adams, here to cover all things dog pound in Cleveland for you guys. I'm joined today by my good friend, Cory Miller. Make sure you go follow his Twitter accounts at Miller97. And make sure you go give the Dog Check pod a follow on Twitter. It's always follow back. Always want to interact with you guys, get some listener questions. So today, on episode 4, we were going to focus on the Cavs, but they ended up getting the 5th pick in the draft, which basically means they're going to be irrelevant for another year. But first thing we're going to talk about is just kind of how the lottery fell and how the whole entire world was just thinking, well, shit, the Pelicans got the first pick. But yeah, so I'm going to hand it over to Cory. What were your initial reactions on that draft lottery?
Well, I'm glad it wasn't rigged and New York got Zion.
Yeah, that's true. If it was rigged, the Knicks or the Lakers would have definitely got Zion. And when the Lakers jumped into the top 4, I was thinking, all right, Adam Silver, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I was surprised by the Sacramento went as low as they did. I mean, they didn't do half bad, but I mean, they don't get that pick, unfortunately. They gave that to the Celtics. But
yeah, the Celtics aren't too happy with that, especially with what looks like Kyrie being out the door there. I thought the quietest thing that happened in this draft is the Grizzlies are foreseeably getting a player like Ja Morant to add to Jaren Jackson, and just kind of Jaren Jackson and Ja Morant being possibly your new cornerstones, and Ja Morant's going to get to learn from one of the smartest point guards in the NBA, and Mike Conley. I think that's a really big deal that no one's talking about, but I want to know what you think the Pelicans will do with that first overall pick. Will it be Zion? Will it be maybe someone we're not expecting, or will it be trade bait inevitably?
if they don't go Zion, I mean, they have Drew Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why they would get another point guard unless they're looking to the future, and they're planning on trading AD right now. If that's the case, I'd say you go with either RJ or Ja Morant, and then you got a pretty good backcourt for the future. That is, if you're going for now and you're planning on keeping AD, you definitely go Zion.
Yep. Yeah, I see a very real possibility where going away from Zion is going to be the hardest thing anyone's ever done in the modern basketball era and in the modern sports era. He's the most clear pick since LeBron James in any sport ever, except for Baker Mayfield. No, but seriously. Zion Williamson is a generational talent, but Zion Williamson alone right now is not getting you anywhere. So I can see a real possibility where the Pelicans think, well, AD is going to be out the door. So why don't we send him away? We accumulate that Knicks 3rd overall pick, and we get Zion Williamson, and then maybe his teammate RJ Barrett, or the Pelicans say, hey, we don't think that Zion's going to help us win championships because he needs players around him, if that's their thinking. And they look at the NBA and say, hey, this is a shooting league. Zion's not a shooter. Maybe they trade out of that first spot, get the Knicks' third overall pick, and who knows? Maybe the Hawks with 8 and 10 are enticing to trade up to number 1, but obviously the clear favorite for the Pelicans is to get Zion and replace AD with Zion. And then obviously I did want to talk about the Knicks going into the draft, but them having a third overall pick and that roster is just god awful. I don't want to talk about them. But the Lakers, we were talking about this before we hopped on here. I honestly, truthfully, don't understand why they automatically jumped into the top 4. I don't get how that works. But the Lakers getting a top 4 pick just made everyone in LA's ears perk up a little more like, oh, holy crap. Maybe we aren't going to be complete crap next year? Maybe? What do you think they should do with that 4th overall pick? Trade it? Who do you think might fall to them?
Honestly, this is just another trade piece. If they're truly going after AD, like a lot of people think they are, if a lot of the columnists and everything think they are, this is just another trade piece. Mm-hmm. You got a handful of your young talent to pick from. You got the 4th overall pick now. If you pair that with the 1st and 4th, you could potentially, I don't know how far RJ Barrett's going to fall, but the 4th pick, you can still get probably DeAndre Hunter, who's a pretty solid power forward. At least what I watched of him.
He could be, yeah, he's listed as a small forward, but he's what you would project in that Western Conference to be an outstanding power forward. Not a Draymond Green, but that undersized, defensive, and then not like Draymond Green, 3-point shooting power forward, yeah.
And if you do that, you can pair DeAndre Hunter and Zion at the 3 and 4. I don't know how well that'd be with stretching the floor. That's going to be very grounded, poundish, but
yeah. I think the Lakers with the 4th overall pick definitely start calling up the Pelicans, saying, "Hey, a 4th overall pick. Yeah, the Knicks can give you the 3rd overall pick, but I mean, hey, we got people on this team that might entice you a little bit more than that. Oh, Lonzo Ball, a Brandon Ingram."
But if you're the Lakers, you're not looking to trade it, which I don't think they are, just for future sake. Any one of those players in the projected top 10, I think, could work. Yeah, they don't really need a center. They're a dime a dozen.
Yeah. It's hard to come by a center that matters in this league. I mean, look at the last 4 teams in the playoffs. The only center that matters right now is Enes Kanter.
Exactly. You got Lonzo, who I think you give him one more year and he blossoms. I think he's going to be a stud. You got Josh Hart coming off the bench. You still got your vets, I guess not anymore.
For next season, the Lakers have under contract so far Bron, Ball, Ingram, Wagner, who I don't see him being anything special. Kuzma, Josh Hart, and that's it right now. But that just means you got a lot of cap room to play with.
Yeah. Okay. So you have a lot of holes.
Yeah.
You could potentially fill with this 4th pick. If you're looking for a shooting guard, you got RJ Barrett if he's still there. If you're looking for another point guard, who's I don't think you need him, but he could work with Darius Garland.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, he's flying high under the radar because of not playing last year, but he's a good shooter. That's with the RJ thing. I think his game can improve in the NBA with it being more spaced out. Watching Duke this year, I was obviously watching for Zion and not RJ. I'm not a very big fan of RJ. I I think his game could improve though with a spaced out floor, because his best attribute is driving. I don't know if he fits in this already bad shooting Lakers 3-point team, but if you're going for someone with a high ceiling, thinking post LeBron, RJ Barrett would definitely be your guy if he dropped to 4.
I feel like he'd have the most trade value as well.
Yeah.
Not that you're looking to trade him, but
Yeah.
just
If I were the Lakers GM, which apparently just anybody can do, so hey, maybe the with the roster you have now, you have so many veterans that you're going to be going out and getting next year. I don't know all the little veterans that are going to be free agents and whatnot, but what you need are those you need like a Stevenson guys. Maybe you sign him back. You need more 3-point shooting. I don't know what Kyle Korver's contract looks like right now, but a player like that, and you just need you just like you said, you have a lot of holes. You don't have a dominant big man right now. Kuzma is not a big man. You don't have a single big guy on your roster, and so maybe they look at a guy like Bol out of Oregon. I don't know how crazy that would be. I forget how tall he is, 7'3" or something like that. He can shoot the three. He can defend. That's something to look at, but also you have to win. You have to build to beat who you're playing against. And does a Bol work against the Rockets or the Warriors or the Kings that are coming and they're fast? Or do you look at it as, can the Rockets, Warriors, or Kings shoot over Bol? A lot of things with the Lakers could go terribly wrong this offseason. We're going to talk in a little bit about what free agency is going to look like with them, big name free agents. But we'll talk about the Cavs also in a second. The last lottery team I really want to talk about are the Atlanta Hawks, who, if you've watched any NBA lately, you've got your eyes glued to this team. Trae Young, electric. Kevin Herter, I know I'm pronouncing that name wrong. He came on great, better than you would expect, and he looks to have. I'm not going to compare him to JJ Redick just because he's white, but kind of that moxie, that little white guy moxie that I'm not going to get stopped even though I'm smaller than you kind of deal. They've got Taurean Prince, a good player, a very good wing player. And then you have Vince Carter, who's, obviously just his veteran leadership means more than his play. And you have John Collins at power forward, who I think should win most improved player. He just played absolutely great. What did he average? Sorry. He averaged 20 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and he had a 6-point win share. That's really good. To put that in perspective, let's see, go to Memphis. Someone like Jaren Jackson only had a 3 win share, and someone as good as Mike Conley had an 8-point win share. So a lot of things to think about. And they also have Dwayne Dedmon at center. But with the 8th and 10th overall pick, Cory, who do you think are some players that could really take this team to that next level that they're so close to being at with this draft?
I honestly don't know. I mean,
Or do you see a trade, maybe a trade up to get one of those elite players, like maybe the Grizzlies or the Lakers could be takers?
I don't even know. Like I'm thinking you either need a center or you need another forward. I don't think you need a guard because you got Kent Bazemore, who's not amazing, but he's a very solid player. You got Kevin Herter, you got Trae Young, and you have Jalen Adams and Justin Anderson, who are, I think, fairly decent bench guards. And then you got Vince, who is a seasoned
So,
vet. I think they go with this.
Justin Anderson was the only one that they don't have in 2019, 2020. But
Sorry.
still, yeah.
I think you go with if you can get him. I think you go with Reddish.
Okay, I can see that.
I don't know if he'll still be available. I mean, he's projected to go the 7th, but things could always change. And if you can't get him, I say maybe Jackson Haynes from Texas.
Oh, all right. That's what would you say if I said at 8 a guy like Bol was there, or if you said they needed another forward, also Brandon Clark from Gonzaga. Those are two good players to maybe keep your eyes on. And another player I'd keep my eye on is maybe Kobe White. If he falls out, you put Trae Young and Kobe White. I think more people need to be looking at this Portland team.
Are you
doing
prepared? Are you prepared to have 2 under 6'5" guards though?
Well, I'm watching the Western Conference Finals right now, and there's 2 6'3" guards that are the second best backcourt in the NBA. Now that's hard to get to, and I know it's bold, but I watch a guy like CJ McCollum who plays with so much energy and heart that he refuses to play like he's 6'3". You watch Kobe White, he was the fastest player on the court at any given time last year. If I put together a backcourt of Kobe White and Trae Young, that's an exciting team. But I don't know. The Hawks could go a lot of different ways. There's a lot of players that, aren't being mentioned towards the top, like PJ Washington from Kentucky came on strong. Grant Williams from Tennessee, a great player. Romeo Langford. This draft isn't as top heavy as people. I mean, it is top heavy, but after Zion Williamson, it's all just kind of fair game from there. I'm not sold on Ja.
I totally agree. I think you're definitely your top 3 are, I'm gonna say, Zion, and then it's either Ja or RJ Barrett. That's me though.
Yeah, and
that's who I'd go with. Unless you have a solid point guard or shooting guard, those are your clear options.
Yeah, and like I said, if DeAndre Hunter or Jarrett Culver or Kobe White went 2 or 3, I wouldn't be that surprised. John Morant was electrifying in college, but he's lazy. He doesn't play defense, and he turns the ball over a lot, especially playing at a small school like Murray State. And RJ Barrett can't shoot the 3 yet. And you see what happens to Ben Simmons and the Sixers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Just things to think about. The draft lottery didn't go the way we thought. The NBA draft's for sure not going to go the way we thought. So that I kind of want to talk about now. To be candid, Cory's not a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, but it's okay.
I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan. You can hate me all you want, but
He's
whatever.
wearing his Mavericks hat right now, I think. Oh no, it's Ohio State hat. So he's a Browns fan. He's an Ohio State fan. He just fell in love with Dirk Nowitzki, and nobody's gonna hate him for that. I mean, he's one of my favorite all-time players, mostly because Cory. I had to watch him all the time. But we're gonna talk about the Cavs, and we're getting an unbiased opinion from him. I float between the Cavs and the Lakers right now. I don't care. I love LeBron. Can't take him out of me. So, what do you think? Like, I don't know if you can pull them up, but looking at the Cavs contracts and kind of what they're sitting at, where do you see them going in this draft, and where do you see them going with, in the next 5 years kind of thing?
Knowing how Dan Gilbert works.
Not well.
Not well. I don't know how well they're going to be in 5 years. I don't know how well their salary situation is going to be in 5 years. All I know is right now, they don't look pretty.
No, they don't.
Their salary is even worse.
Mm-hmm.
You are paying Tristan Thompson $17 million to be outdated.
Yeah. The only plus about all these contracts, after 2020, so after next season,
Yeah.
all of these guys are gone, but the people that matter, and Kevin Love, Colin Sexton, Larry Nance, who's expensive, but he brings more to this team than people think, and he was flirting with the triple-double all year last year. And then you have Big Z under contract. So like Cory was saying, for this next year, the Cavs' salary is as ugly as the Rockets' salary, which is not pretty, and we will get to in a little bit.
Except the Rockets are contenders.
Hey, the Cavs would be contenders too. They're just one player away, dude. They were one Zion away.
They're LeBron away.
Yeah, any team's a LeBron away though. But I look at this as next year's your. I don't know what this year was, if next year's this, but next year's your. Let's get ready for next year. Let's get ready for 2 years from now, and start to build from there. You have 2 first-round picks this year. You have the 5th overall pick, and you have the 24th overall pick. I think that J.R. Smith and Jordan Clarkson are both going to be heavily baited for trade. They're on the last year of their contracts. They're both scorers. Contending teams will call the Cavs for them. If you can package a deal, you ended up getting 2 second-rounders out of Jordan Clarkson and J.R. Smith. I think the entire Cavs organization would be thrilled because J.R. Smith's doing nothing but throwing soup, and Jordan Clarkson is doing nothing but scoring, and that includes he doesn't pass, he doesn't play defense.
That's gonna be hard though. You got a 14.7 million contract and a 12.5. That's gonna be a lot of salary to eat for nothing in return. Not a whole lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're either gonna have to give up a draft pick to get rid of him, or or not a first. You're gonna have to give up a second, I think.
Well, somebody will take him because it's just for 1 year.
Okay, yeah. For some reason, I was thinking JR's under a contract for another year after that. My bad.
Well, these Basketball Reference, as good as the site is, it still has it up as if it's 2018-29 season. It's driving me nuts. But I think with the 5th overall pick, and Steven, if you're listening, Cavs are going to get Jarrett Culver like I wanted the whole time.
They're not.
I think Jarrett Culver from Texas Tech is one of the best players in this draft. He's my favorite player in the draft. And I think that he fits into this roster beautifully. You sign Jetty to a long-term deal, hopefully sometime this year. You have Colin, Culver, Jetty, Nance, and Kevin Love under contract for the foreseeable future. I like that. It's a start. And then with the signing of John Beilein, I really think that, the 26th pick might be a guy like Iggy from Michigan. If you didn't watch him, go watch him. Super good player. Only problem is he fouled a lot. But what are you kind of thinking they should do with these 2 picks?
4th, I definitely think if I don't know. If you have confidence in Jared Culver, I'd say go with him. I don't know how well he'll transition. I mean, I don't see an issue with him, but there's always that chance.
I just see him as a Jimmy Butler as his ceiling. His floor is low, but I see him as a Jimmy Butler kind of player, which I just would love to have on my team. But obviously, not everyone just turns into Jimmy Butler. He's a good player.
Yeah. Your shooting guard. I mean, if you're going with the shooting guard, that's where you're gonna want. Point guard, you're pretty much set. I mean, you got Colin Sexton, you got Delly,
first
you got
team,
Clarkson,
all rookie NBA,
and you got Brandon Knight, who I think if he's gonna come back anything in what he was, this is gonna be the year to prove it.
You've always loved Brandon Knight, and that's just because 2K.
I love Brandon Knight. I have loved Brandon Knight since he came into the league. But
God,
that's me.
But I agree with you. I don't think you need to go point guard here. The only way I'd go point guard is if, Kobe White was at 5. I would love to see Kobe White, Colin Sexton, backcourt, get the two giant froze, two fastest guys on the court at all times. I'm telling you, the double point guard backcourt is the way the NBA is going. Beat the damn curve and get there. Beat the curve. The Rockets and Warriors game the other night, I think the only two forwards on the floor were Draymond Green and Kevin Durant. The Rockets had 5 guards on the floor. But it works. I don't love it. As a former post player, I want to see the big guy post up. But it's how it's going. So beat the curve, get your 2 point guards, get the hell out of there, and let John Beilein work his magic. Which leads me to Corey's second favorite team.
I don't like John.
No. I'm talking about the Rockets.
Oh, I love the Rockets.
Corey, even though he's a Dallas fan, when they won their championship in 2011, he was ecstatic. But then when they were bad and the Rockets became good,
that's not true.
He moved 3 hours to Houston.
When James Harden got traded, I love that trade, and I started watching and following.
He is not
Houston
lying.
as well.
He beat the James Harden hype. He was a fan, and
from day one, I thought
he was a fan of beardless Harden. If that means anything,
I thought Houston stole James Harden, and they did, and I am so happy about it.
Who they didn't steal was Chris Paul, because they're stealing. He's stealing from them, which leads me to my question. Have the Rockets gone as far as they can go? What does the future for the Rockets look like with that atrocious contract of Chris Paul? And what do you think they should do?
I don't think there's anywhere they can go without trading them.
The only way you get better is if James Harden gets better, and golly, that'd be hard.
Well, I mean, no. You got you got 2 guys making almost all of your salary. You have Harden, who's making $30 million a year, which I think he's worth because he is an MVP.
He jumps up to. I just saw this. He gets $46 million in 2022. Holy crap!
Yeah. And you have Chris Paul making $35 million, 35.5-ish, which is way too much for I don't even know how old he's, 36, 30, 34. 34-year-old point guard who
34, he's the oldest 34 I've ever seen. I think my dad could be healthier throughout an 82-game season than Chris Paul. Pull less hammies.
He's hurt. He's hurt every, I don't know, 15 games, something like that.
Yeah, and like we were just talking about at the bar last week, is Chris Paul. No, Dan, he's not better than Tony Parker, but Chris Paul is he is an elite point guard. He is one of the best point guards of all time. That is not a debate. He's up there in the Magics, the Jerry West, the Oscar Robinsons. He's up there. I didn't name all of them. Steph Curry. But the problem is he can't be making $44 million in 2021. How would you say he is? 34?
Yeah, he's 34.
He's going to be 37. He's going to be 37 making $44 million, and he can't stay healthy at 34.
Well, he's only on a 3-year deal, right?
Yeah, but in 2021, the year I'm talking about, he's making $44 million.
Will he? Oh, God, wow.
Yeah, which, you look at their roster for next year, and like you were saying, it's those 4 guys, the Chris Paul, James Harden.
There's nowhere for them to go. Like, the only way is if you have to get vets that are willing to take nothing for a chance for a championship.
Which if I'm a player, I'm not going to the Rockets to watch James Harden dribble the ball. No offense, James Harden's a great player, but I'm not wasting my time watching him dribble when I can go play for the Warriors who are going to let me score 40 a night if I'm feeling it.
If you're a spot-up shooter or a rebounder, this is your team.
Yeah.
They're going to love you.
Which kind of leads me to Clint Capella. He's almost been found out. He's almost a non-factor anymore. this postseason, the Warriors just figured out how to take him away, and it was like
Yeah,
he wasn't even out there.
yeah, exactly. It really upset me. I mean, I'm glad it went as far as it did with the Houston series, but I knew deep down there was no way they're getting out of this.
Yeah, when you couldn't get past the Warriors without KD, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, maybe it's not as bad as people think when the Warriors don't have KD. But you have your starting five under contract for next year. But then the problem is you literally have no one under contract. You were getting Kenneth Faried for less than $1 million this year. God knows how. You're getting Austin Rivers for $1 million. That's not happening again. Gerald Green for $2 million. That's not happening again. And then Amon Shumpert, that I don't know why the hell he's even. That's just ridiculous. But then the only other guy under contract in the entire team is Nene and Isaiah Hartenstein. You could have told me that was an author of British novels, and I would have said, yeah, yep, I heard of him.
I don't even know if he played.
I don't think he played a single minute. But PJ Tucker could start on any team in the NBA. He's, if you were use a word, he's a meat and potatoes guy, but he is spectacular. Eric Gordon is not even worth close to 14 million. Clint Capella, you can make an argument he's worth 16 million on the right team.
A year ago, Eric Gordon was worth every penny.
Yeah, not this year.
This year he has been very underwhelming.
Yeah, and James Harden, Kobe can say this kind of offense won't work to win the playoffs. First of all, they didn't run that offense in the playoffs. So stop that bullshit of retweeting Kobe's thing saying he tried to tell us. No, he didn't. The offense he was talking about is where James Harden's usage rate was above 80. They were talking about when James Harden looked like he was playing against a bunch, like he was like the dad playing against his 4 sons who he knows can't steal the ball or block him, so he just dribbles the ball around the 3-point line. James Harden did that to get his team to the playoffs. He didn't do it because he wanted to.
He did it to keep them above water.
Yeah.
Keep their head above water.
So you can't tell me that the reason that they didn't win is because he handled the ball too much. I thought in the playoffs he didn't handle the ball enough. Against the Warriors, he took too many games off, and I think that had to do with him having to carry the load so hard in the regular season. What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'd rather see that, letting him rest a little bit too much, than just watching him literally gas himself and then not even be there in the fourth quarter when you need him. Yeah. I like the approach D'Antoni did this season, which I'm not even sure. I'm not sure D'Antoni's the answer. I love D'Antoni. I love his offense, but I don't think it's going to work anymore. It's very Suns, old Steve Nash Suns-ish.
So I have a scenario. This is just a scenario. If you're the Rockets and you want to keep D'Antoni, and maybe you are saying D'Antoni is the guy. He's our future. Do you trade James Harden for maybe the second overall pick? And then obviously, you're the Rockets, you get more compensation. Do you start restarting? Or do you keep James Harden and say we're going to build around you?
No, if you're set on D'Antoni, I'm pretty sure D'Antoni's set on Harden as his guy, because he has repeatedly praised Harden.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely don't think they should trade James Harden. I think he is in the top. I don't want to crown a best player in the NBA. There's a group of 5, and he is definitely in that group. You don't trade him. I'm just saying, like, playing devil's advocate, but I like your answer. He's set on James Harden.
You gotta paying Chris Paul is the worst thing you could have done, and you did it. Is
there a team like the Cavs or the Suns that are awful that would say, screw it, we'll take him? Ever in his career? I don't know. I don't know that someone can take on $40 million. Just maybe, because maybe he'll play 30 games
for a 35-year-old point guard. Yeah, I don't know, but don't get me wrong. I think he's still a probably top 25 player.
When he's on the court, he's
Chris,
a top 25 player.
when
When he's
he's
on the
playing,
court, if you take everything into consideration, his age, his price, his durability, I wouldn't even put him in the top 50. He wouldn't even be sniffing my top 50. Durability is a big factor. Once you pull muscles, once you start tearing things, good God, it's not easy to recover. But I'm looking at a team like maybe if I'm the Suns and you think, the NFL and the NBA are different. The NFL, you get your young players, you go now. The NBA, you get your young players. Well, these guys are 3 years younger than when they come into the NFL. So you got to keep building. But if you have Booker and Ayton, and Booker's about to have to start getting paid again coming up, do you maybe go after Chris Paul? Because I don't think it would take much to get him. The problem would be paying him afterwards. But do you get that Chris Paul? Because they've repeatedly said we're point guard away. That's something to look at. I don't think it'll happen, but could the Suns could the Suns be risky enough to take on that with the way the West is shaped with you still have LeBron, you still have the Warriors, you still have James Harden, you have a young Utah team, Portland.
You know who the Suns have for point guard, right? Jimmer Fredette.
The Shanghai Sharks, All-Stars.
But yeah, I really like their team. I think they need a piece to mush it all together. Like yeah. I like Josh Jackson was a touch underwhelming this year.
He got arrested today.
Did he?
Yeah. He ran away from cops, but I mean it won't affect him in the long run. But it's just a snippet. He Baker Mayfield it. It's all right.
DeAndre Ayton. I think he'll be a stud. Give him a few years.
He averaged a double-double without even trying his first year. That's just ridiculous.
Give him a few years. I think he'll be a real stud. And then you got Devin Booker, who is an amazing scorer for as young as he is.
Yeah.
I think you need a pure point guard.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Paul is your guy, I think.
But the other thing is at 6, there could be a guy like the person that I had the Suns getting out of the top 3 was Trey Jones from Duke. I don't know how much you watched at Duke, Corey, but he went, I think it was 80-some minutes without a turnover in the Sweet 16 Elite 8. Like, he was my favorite point guard. This? Trey Jones. His brother was Tyus. Yeah. I love Trey Jones. He ended up going back, but that's who Phoenix, needs. They need that defending, passing point guard. But Trey Jones' biggest fallback, just like the rest of the Duke guys, they couldn't shoot threes. But go on with the Suns. Sorry, I interrupted you.
If you're a Sun, if you're the point guard there, you don't need to shoot threes. That's why.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if this would work. I don't know if this is in talks. If this was, I don't know. I don't care.
I love it.
Lonzo Ball, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
He would be perfect in this situation.
If I'm the Suns, I would give up 6 for Lonzo Ball and snap my fingers.
Because you have what is he, 6'7"?
He's 6'5", but he looks more 6'6" out there. He's 6'5" height, but his wingspan has to be
whatever it is. You have a 6'5",
7-foot wingspan.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be a stud.
We both love Lonzo Ball.
I think he's gonna be a better Ben Simmons in the long run. But
I like it. I like the hot take. But is it a hot take? Because Ben Simmons hasn't gotten any better in 2 years. Granted, Lonzo Ball hasn't gotten much better. But if you see the stats of Lonzo Ball on the court versus off the court for the Lakers, Lonzo Ball defends. He's a great passer. He's great in transition. And he's good driving to the hole. Ben Simmons is a below-average defender. He's a great passer. He's great in transition. And he's great getting to the hole. So they're almost good at the same things. It's just, do you want a LeBron body point guard, or do you just want a guy that can literally ball? No pun intended to his last name. But, sorry, go on again about your what you think Phoenix should do?
If I'm Phoenix, you give up the 6. Yeah, that's right. They got 6, right?
Yep, 6.
Okay.
They got boned on that.
You give up 6, and I'd even say I'd hate to do it, but like maybe like a Dragon Bender.
Yeah, I can see. He's never quite played up to that number 2 overall pick or whatever. He's one of those players like a Markelle Fultz who could see new pastures and maybe get better.
And you try. I don't know if Lakers would do it or not. You try and get Lonzo, and I say Josh Hart.
Okay.
Because Josh Hart coming off the bench and for Devin Booker, I think would be amazing.
Yeah, and you could even Alonzo, Josh Hart, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and I don't know if Kelly Oubre's under contract for next year, but him. You also have T.J. Warren, I know, is under contract. Mikal Bridges, BG power forward Rashawn Holmes. He's not very good, but it's pretty cool. The like you said, the Suns are that point guard away, and if you're looking for a pure point guard by the definition, Lonzo Ball is about as close as it gets in my book. I don't
young wise, yeah.
Yeah. But
they're gonna need to add some vets in the offseason though. Like
damn it, we
they're all
talked way too
young.
long about these Suns. I don't know what I wrote down. Don't talk about the Suns. They're not interesting. And there we are. But we're almost to the end. We have 2 more kind of big topics. I guess we're not really that close to the end, but we're getting there.
Ish.
Who knows? We might go 3 hours. No, I'm kidding. Would do that? Free agency. Obviously, you have the top tier. You have Snake. Oh, sorry. Did I say that? Kevin Durant. Don't get me wrong. This is unbiased. Kevin Durant is the best scorer in the NBA right now. And probably, maybe, will definitely finish his career if he stays at this trajectory. The best scorer in NBA history. We have never seen a 7-footer that could shoot as well as anybody in the league, that can dribble the ball as well as anyone in the league. Who were you about to say?
Dirk.
Don't say Dirk. Dirk couldn't move. KD is smooth. That rhymed. KD is a great player. I don't think he has the championship DNA. Oh, he won the finals MVP twice. Kiss my bare white ass. Steph Curry. We'll get into that later. I'm not even going to talk about the Warriors yet. KD, top tier. Kawhi, top tier. Kawhi, I think this year has been the best player in the NBA. It's so hard for me to not crown LeBron that, but he just didn't have it. And I think part of it was his teammates, but gosh, LeBron just didn't have that juice this year. But just wait, he'll be back. So you have Kawhi, who I think is the best player in the NBA right now, as of this year. Then you have Kyrie in the top tier. And people get so fed up in what's happening right now and saying Kyrie Irving is not clutch. He choked. As far as I can recall, that's the first bad playoff, not only game, but series he's ever had in his career. And don't give me LeBron made him better. They pushed each other. LeBron helped shape him into a champion. But Kyrie Irving is a great player, and he's very clutch. So don't get so caught up in what's happening right this second. And you have the second-tier players, Clay, Jimmy, Boogie, Kemba. I'm probably forgetting some, but those are kind of the ones right on the top of my head. So what, with KD, we'll start with him because KD.
I'm sorry. I just, not to go back on it, but you said LeBron didn't have the juice this year.
No, his stats were juice. Watching him play live, he just didn't have that killer.
Exactly. Okay. Just wanted to get that clear.
Oh, no. If you look, the next person that tells me LeBron James had a bad season, listen to what Corey's about to tell you his stat line is. Kiss our butts. LeBron James is still a great player.
He had 27.4 points per game.
Preach.
He had 8.5 rebounds per game.
Preach.
He had 8.5 assists, or 8.3, assists.
Preach.
His field goal percentage was 51%.
Wow, that's good. Tell us more.
His 3-point percentage was just under average at 33.9. And
that's okay. Pretty good.
his free throw was pretty terrible. I will say that. It was 66.
Oh, he's always been bad at that, but that doesn't matter. He
Uh,
doesn't get foul calls.
and then his his player efficiency rating was only a 25.
Do you have the league average pulled up?
No, but his career average is 27.6.
Mm.
And then his win shares was 7.1, 7.2. But
guys, LeBron James.
He did look a step slow for LeBron James.
Yeah, he just didn't have that killer attitude. He's never had a killer attitude. If he had a killer attitude, Michael Jordan would be an afterthought for the best player ever.
I don't know. That first Heat series against the Celtics, Heat year 1, that was pretty killer.
Well, just because he freaking dunked it on Jason Terry, who might as well have been some 40-year-old white guy out there. I'm just saying, if LeBron had a
Kobe mentality,
Mamba mentality, or if he had Michael Jordan, I'm going to dunk it on you from the free throw line with my tongue out, and my dong's probably out the bottom of my shorts because they were only that you guys have seen the shorts, just ridiculous. Michael Jordan wouldn't even be in consideration for the top player ever. And yeah, if you think Michael Jordan's the best player ever, I understand and respect your decision, but you're wrong. And LeBron is the best player ever. I'm not saying he's the best competitor, not saying he's the best winner. Player, we're talking everything combined. But anyway, all inclusive.
Okay.
What was the question? I got off on a rant.
Kevin Durant, where do you want to see him go this offseason? And do you think he'll bring a friend? Knicks.
I think he stays where he's at. I think if you're
taking into account that he has a player option this year, it's not like he's just free. Like, he could just sign back with the Warriors real easily if he wanted to.
Yeah, I think he stays where he's at. I mean,
could this Western Conference Finals determine where he goes?
I don't think so. I think he's gonna go where he's gonna go, unless they get their asses handed to him, which I don't see that happening.
I haven't even been looking. What's the score of this game? Do you know? It's at halftime.
Nope. 54-45. Warriors up.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think he stays. I wouldn't leave that situation if I were him. And they either have to pay you or they're playing Clay. Yeah. So unless you're willing to take another hit to the wallet, which isn't really that big a deal since he's already a couple millionaire.
Yeah.
I think you stay.
As a basketball fan, part of me wants to see him leave, but also part of me, and that's not because I'm tired of Kevin Durant and the Warriors. It sucks to watch, but when you watch them, you're just in awe that how they do this with the chemistry and all. But part of me wants to see him leave to see the Steph, Clay, Draymond Warriors again. People forget how good they were. They weren't formed by Kevin Durant.
73 win team.
Yeah. I personally, I don't think Kevin Durant's going to the Knicks. Guys, he's the softest player in the NBA when it comes to the media. Where's the toughest place to play in the media? New York. Where's the easiest? The most liberal town in America, San Francisco. Stay there. You're good. Your team's good. You go to New York. Good Lord. I mean, you shoot 10 for 22 and they're going to sacrifice you at Times Square. Says the best player in the NBA this past year, Kawhi Leonard. I'm gonna start this one because I'm intrigued. So when I started this playoffs, I was lost. I was like, I don't even know if I want to watch. Then I was like, I like CJ McCollum. He's a Browns fan. I like Kawhi Leonard. He does everything the right way. I'm gonna like the Raptors and the Blazers, and they've both been winning. They've both been proving me right. I think after 2 nights ago, I think Kawhi stays. I think Kawhi's staying in Toronto. That team is set right now to win the East for years to come. Kyle Lowry has not choked this offseason. Marc Gasol is still a viable center. Serge Ibaka, if he's still under contract, I do not know. But Serge Ibaka has played well. Siakam, great rising star. Great rising star. I don't know what Danny Green looks like, but he's one of those Kyle Korver-esque players. And then you have Kawhi Leonard in that group. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, and Marc Gasol, and Ibaka, and Siakam alone that's better than the Sixers team. Which is the only, because I think the Celtics are going to implode on themselves. But I think he stays. What do you think he does? Or what do you want to see him do? Either one. You choose.
I'd like to see him go to the Clippers. I think that'd be a great team. You got Lou Williams coming off the bench, scoring like a boss.
Like a boss.
Like a boss. I really like. I don't know what if he doesn't go to the Clippers. I think he stays in Toronto. I don't think he likes Toronto by any means. But the Clippers.
Yeah, I think Toronto, if not San Antonio, Toronto is just the best place in the country. Oh, not the country, in the world, I guess I should say, for Kawhi Leonard. He's quiet. You don't hear about Toronto because they're across the border. They're nicer up there. I don't know. I'd like to see an insight of what he is like with Nick Nurse and the GM. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, the president. I want to know his chemistry with Kyle Lowry, because all this is going to get taken into consideration.
Yeah, I get that. I want to see what he can do with Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is probably one of my favorite coaches.
He's an all-time great by far.
I mean, with looks like a very mediocre team they had.
Oh, they shouldn't have made the playoffs.
Yeah,
and they they made the Warriors. Look at they might have helped whoever's playing the Warriors now, because Kevin Durant playing those extra games could have, put the wear and tear on his calf.
Their best player is Lou Williams. Their second best, I'm going to say, is probably Gallinari.
Yeah, he's a good scorer. And then after that, you have a bunch of young, unproven rookies.
You got Patrick Beverly and you got Montrezl Harrell.
Oh, I forgot about Patrick Beverly. But Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Shamet did play well in that series. Now, that's a series, and you have to prove more than 6 games. But like you said, they're not a very good team.
I think it'd be interesting to watch, especially if you add that probably arguably best two-way player in the league.
Oh, yeah, you add Kawhi Leonard to that team. Kawhi Leonard and Patrick Beverly alone would be terrifying if you're...
on defense.
Yeah. I mean, are there 2 scarier players on defense in the NBA? I can't think of a second one out. I mean, Kawhi Leonard's easily the first. He's the only player in the NBA.
Jimmy Butler.
Shut down. Okay, you get Jimmy Butler. P-Bev.
Yeah.
And, Giannis maybe can be up in that conversation sometime, but so you think Kawhi to the Clippers? I like it.
I really like.
He's an LA guy.
Yeah.
California kid.
Yeah, I think the only better forward defensive player is probably Draymond Green.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I mean, Draymond Green has sucked on offense this year, guys, but don't forget
You don't need it.
If you are anything but a Warriors fan, you hate Draymond Green. If you're an NBA fan and you just want to appreciate the sport, Draymond Green is someone that you can appreciate. Nice selfie, Corey. He's a willing passer. He's a great passer.
I forgot we're on webcam.
You're good. I don't care. Most people probably aren't listening at this point. Except for my loyal listeners. Thank you. Draymond Green's good. We're gonna move on to the third free agent. My favorite free agent, because he's going to be a Laker, and his name's
Tobias Harris.
That actually could be interesting.
No,
you had
I'm
a big
kidding.
man 3-point shooter.
Go ahead.
That's something that we could look at.
Go ahead.
But Kyrie Irving, He has a player option. He's not going to
gone.
accept that player option.
He's gone.
Why go to New York and play with Kevin Knox and presumably freaking Cam Reddish or RJ Barrett? Or you can go play with LeBron James. Guys, him and LeBron, they've made up. Brian Windhurst reported the door was dead bolted.
He apologized. That's not a making up.
Oh, they made up. They're buddies now. Trust me. I talked to him.
I got the scoop.
I got the scoop and the ice cream scoop. But Kyrie Irving, and then Lonzo Ball is going to be in Phoenix. So you're going to have Kyrie, Brandon Ingram, LeBron, Kyle Kuzma, insert random veteran center here. And then, oh yeah, the random veteran center is going to be Anthony Davis because the 4th overall pick and the 6th overall pick are going to go to the Pelicans for Anthony Davis. There is your Lakers offseason. Bam! I just drilled that, and that was off the top of my head. I didn't. Oh my gosh!
Are you going off the fact that they trade Lonzo to the
Phoenix? Yes, that's a fact already in my mind. Okay. Lonzo to Phoenix. Phoenix is going to trade the 6th overall willingly, obviously. We're going to send Lonzo in a second. We'll give him a second. And we're going to trade for AD. We're going to sign Kyrie Irving. Lakers are back on the top. Guys, and this is the other thing. Saying LeBron should leave because the front office is in shambles. LeBron James thrives under chaos. If you watch Kevin Love interviews and stuff, he was just on First Things First about a week ago. And they were talking about the chaos and stuff. And he said, we wouldn't have won that 2016 finals had not been for the chaos. LeBron doesn't like to sit in his own thoughts. He doesn't like to just sit there. It's all about the show. He's theatrical about it. So what do you think about my little swapperoo for the Lakers there? This is so easily done. It's definitely a done deal.
All right, next free agent.
You're not even going to comment on it?
I think Kyrie, I don't know where he goes. Like, I'm thinking he goes, or, I mean, I'd like to see him come out to the Lakers, but I don't know how realistic that is. I don't know how realistic it's not.
Kyrie's a New York kid, right? That's why they're thinking he's going to the Knicks.
I don't know. That would make the most sense just because you got pretty much a fresh start. It's your call. They just traded Kristaps for what?
Oh God, Kyrie's from Australia. I forgot about that. Where did he grow up in Ohio? Where did he grow up in America? Anyway, he's gonna go play for the Shanghai Sharks with. He's gonna take Jimmy for that spot. He'll be on the next 2K intro.
Nets could be meh.
Yeah, they don't have D'Angelo Russell back, by the way, guys. They have to re-sign him. He's unrestricted.
Yeah. And if they don't re-sign him, then Nets could be a option.
With the speaking of D'Angelo Russell, since we're not going to talk about him because he's so young and has only really had like 1 or 2 proven years, I don't think
I'd like to see him go to Utah. I'd like to see him go to Utah.
Oh, he's done his homework on D. Russ.
Because he's friends. He's good friends with Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at this. He's got the scoop too, guys. I talked to LeBron and Kyrie. No big deal. He talks to D'Angelo Russell and Donovan Mitchell. Who's better? Oh, but talk about that Utah team. Ooh.
I think the Utah team would be great if they added Russell, because then you got
you got him, Mitchell, Gobert, then the janitor, Joe Ingles.
The whitest person in the NBA.
I wonder where he's from. Croatia or something. They're all from over there.
I like their team because they got Grayson Allen, who could be good.
I really liked him out of college. I don't care if he trips people. My favorite quarterback grabs his grabs his nuts and flops a giant dong down. I don't care about that crap.
Okay. You got Kyle Korver still. You got Ricky Rubio,
Are
who
these all under contract in 2019?
I think so.
I'll check. You
Yeah.
keep talking.
Yeah. I was going to. You got Derek Favors, who is, I think, a pretty good.
Yeah, he's a very good player. He'll always go under the radar, but I mean, he's good.
Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, he's great. Rudy Gobert is one of the best centers in the NBA.
You got Jay Crowder,
who
underachieved but could be decent.
He's a lesser PJ Tucker. You like him on your team.
Yeah. You're a little top heavy with guard though, because you got Grayson, you got Dante Exum, you got
Dante Exum. Did he play this year?
You got Kyle, you got Donovan, you got that what's his name? Raul Neto.
I don't think Dante Exum played this year.
Ricky Rubio, and then you got that Naz. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Naz Mitrao Long. I don't know if he played or not, but that's
Dante Exum got hurt. He only played 42 games this year. Oh man, Dante Exum's he's always a player that's just never been able to quite reach that because injuries and such. Man, that stinks. But yeah, if they can bring him back, I like that D'Angelo Russell to the Utah Jazz. That could be a good team because I mean they're one Donovan Mitchell shot away from being that much better. And you can't put all that pressure on a 22-year-old.
They could use a seasoned small forward, but I don't know where they're gonna get that.
Yeah, and they don't have a good draft pick.
Or like Jimmy Butler would be the best option, but I doubt he's gonna go there to Utah.
Actually, I was listening to Stephen A. Smith, and he was talking about how Lillard is recruiting Jimmy out to Portland. That would be fun. That would be really fun.
That'd be pretty good.
You can't hear my dog growling, can you?
No.
Okay, that would have been annoying for the listeners. That I guess we'll go right into Jimmy Butler with that. Where do you see him going?
I think Jimmy. I don't know.
You have to make him. Where Jimmy Butler goes because he has a player option. It's going to depend on what the Sixers do this offseason.
I think if he leaves, he's going to go somewhere where he's the number one or he's playing with Kyrie.
Okay.
Because if he's the number one option, I don't think they win. I think they are a very average
Chicago
playoff.
Bulls?
Yeah, they are a very average playoff border pre Paul George Thunder.
Pacers. Thunder. Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
He's never now at this point in his career, Jimmy Butler is overhyped. He is a grab your lunch pail, go to work every day, and bust your butt and tell you how it is. But I don't like with the Portland thing when Stephen A. Smith said that, he doesn't fit in Portland. Dame's ball dominant, CJ's ball dominant, Jimmy's ball dominant. That doesn't work. I don't see a legitimate place where Jimmy Butler is that. I can see him really going to the New York Knicks with a guy like maybe Kemba Walker. That's where I think Kemba's going to go. New York Knicks. You can't stay in Charlotte. I don't care if that's where you've played your whole career. He's from New York, actually from the city. One of the few players. And, Kemba, Jimmy, and then the third overall pick, RJ Barrett. Just try to build that way. Jimmy Butler has been always overhyped to me.
If you're the Lakers this offseason and you don't go after Kyrie, I think your next option is Kemba.
Oh, absolutely. Would play because Kemba and Kyrie play a very similar style, but Kemba plays defense.
Yeah,
and honestly, Kemba plays defense.
He's not as offensively gifted.
No, but he still
plays defense,
and he's still very good on offense. Just plays a little bit different style than Kyrie, but he's still to break you down, hit that jump hit that step back jumper. He can get to the hole. He's smaller than Kyrie, but he's not plagued with injuries. That's something to think about.
Yeah.
This one is just kind of like, to me at this point, Boogie Cousins.
I think after what did he do? Tore his
Quad
hip,
or something.
quad. Yeah. I don't think he gets paid.
No. I don't know where he.
I honestly don't even know where anyone would. I guess the Warriors might try and sign him back.
Warriors on another $5 million deal.
I don't know where he would. Teams don't want centers. I mean, they would love to have a DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, Cousins brings a lot of baggage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sticking with injured big men, your boy, Kristaps Porzingis, had a couple bad offseason allegations, but it looks like that's being resolved. He's restricted. How much Mark Cuban going to drop on the unicorn?
I think he gives him a max. I don't want him to.
That's not a bad thing. He's still on that rookie max. However, it works. It's kind of like what Ben Simmons got. I think the max he can get is like that. It's like a 150 or something. Whatever Ben Simmons. I'll look it up. But you keep talking about Porzingis.
I love him. I like everything about his game. He is a taller, slightly slower Durant. Well, not slightly. He's a bit slower. He's just a faster Dirk. I love his game though. I think he'll be great once he comes. Even if he comes back 80% of what he was, he'll still be great. Pairing him with I lost his name.
Luka
Doncic. You pair those two together, I think that's going to be a great duo when they're ready to swoop in for the Western Conference.
Yeah, the only problem with the Mavericks, which I'm sorry, Corey, we're not going to get into because they're less interesting. After those two, they're less interesting than the Cavs, which is something. That's saying something.
Yeah, they're pretty bland.
Luka and Kristaps, though, if you can keep those two, that's you can't ask for a better building blocks. You can't. Kristaps, he's got to stay in. You don't trade for him if you're not going to sign him. But yeah, he'll get the most amount of money he can get. Klay Thompson, I would love to talk about him, but he's staying in Golden State. Do you have an argument on that, or is that where you think he's going to be?
If Durant stays, he's gone.
Okay.
I think
Clippers?
I don't know. I think wherever he gets paid the most.
Okay, yeah.
He fits literally in any
every
system.
single offense. We've said this so many times. We're just in awe of Klay Thompson's game. I've hated the person he's coming. He's kind of turned into a giant douchebag on the court. Not gonna lie, but fits in any offense.
Yeah, because he can put it on. He can put it on the ground, or he can spot up and just drill it in your face, and he is gonna guard you relentlessly.
Yeah, I would love to see him in Portland. As I'm watching this game, they're that one player away. Kawhi Leonard in Portland would be scary good, but Kawhi Leonard's very ball dominant, which is not good. That's why someone like Klay. If I just go through this list, Tobias Harris.
Are you gonna give up on CJ?
No. I would play Klay at the 3-man. Clay's 6'7". He guards LeBron. I'm not worried about that. No, CJ's the man. Tobias Harris, I think, would work great in.
You can't pay all three.
I think they can. I think they can pay one more person. I think because their contracts. They have literally no one.
Gotcha.
I could be wrong. You can look it up. I don't really know.
Yeah,
but
Tobias Harris, he's a really solid.
Yeah, but Tobias won't get the max. I don't think. He's played too bad in the postseason. Still a great player. A team would give him the max. Let's see who's really bad. The
Phoenix.
Pelicans, Phoenix, the Cavs, maybe. There's a lot of teams.
Cavs don't have any room to
Hey,
sign a max player.
Hey, we'll give him Rocket Mortgage. We will give him the company, Rocket Mortgage Company. Al Horford having a player option. I've said this time and time again. He's my favorite center in the NBA. I think he stays too. He's not going to get paid more than he's getting paid there. We went over D'Angelo Russell. I don't know where he's going, but I don't think it's Brooklyn. I don't think he really cares about Brooklyn that much. I think the Sixers are not going to be very good next year. It was more unrestricted free agents. That's your boy DeAndre Jordan. Have any thoughts on him?
I don't know. I was ecstatic when we signed him, the Mavericks. That is.
Yeah, for the second time.
Yeah.
The fake signing.
For the second time.
That was something else.
That hurt me.
Yeah, I remember getting a text.
Yeah.
Explicit.
I was upset. Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of
bad turnover.
He falls into that DeMarcus Cousins area. Teams just don't really want to.
Yeah, they don't want to pay your centers.
Yeah, you. I think he goes somewhere on like a maybe 10-year deal or 10 million deal, maybe.
The only center I would pay in the NBA is Al Horford. I don't care how crazy people think I am. You watch Al Horford.
It's because you have to for $30 million.
He wrote. It looks like he wrote the book on how to be a center. Kind of last thing.
He watched one too many Tim Duncan games.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree, but if Tim Duncan played today, he would be a center, but he was a power forward back then. Tim Duncan was the best power forward in the NBA. Don't even bring Dirk at me. That's a joke. But Dirk is definitely up there. Last thing I kind of want to talk about. I mean, this ran a little bit longer than normal, but that's okay. It's a lot better talking to someone else than myself. And I know this is a Browns podcast, but guys, you guys like sports. We're going to talk about other things sometimes. Today was OTAs and stuff like that. So my next episode is going to be full of Brown stuff. This has been a good NBA one because we knew someone was going to have to talk about Zion.
It was the lottery. What do you want?
Yeah, it was a lottery, guys. Back off. Last thing we're going to talk about Steve Kerr and the Warriors. I don't think Steve Kerr is still being recognized enough as how good of a coach he is.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that he knows basketball. He may be the greatest coach we've ever seen, and we don't know it. But, like, you have probably a top, all-time, could potentially be a top all-time, well, definitely the greatest scoring point guard.
Yep, best shooter in NBA history.
Best shooter in NBA history. And then you have...
the third or fourth best shooter in NBA history.
Exactly. And then you have Kevin Durant.
The fifth or sixth best shooter in NBA history.
And then you have
Ray Allen and Reggie.
Draymond Green, probably the best.
What he does. He's the Dennis Rodman of this generation.
One of the best all-around.
I know what you mean. It's the meat and potatoes guy. He'll do whatever you ask of him, and he doesn't care what he looks like. He's still a douchebag, but he's good at what he does.
And then on top of that, your bench is wow, I can't think of his name.
Sean Livingston.
And
Andre Iguodala.
Sean Livingston, you get paid to be tall and
shoot that
layups.
Stupid 10-foot jumper. What the hell even is that?
I don't know. And you have Iggy, who's a poor man's LeBron, but he works on that team.
Yeah, he does. This is my argument for Steve Kerr being an absolutely outstanding coach. You lose, like we've talked about, one of the best scorers in the history of the NBA. And your team 2 days later, your team comes out and looks like the team 2 years ago, the offense 2 years ago you put in, because KD, when he's in, they don't run the same offense. Next,
No, they
for
don't.
when you guys are listening, next time you watch KD play with the Warriors, if we ever see that again, actually, then you watch KD without the Warriors. I mean, the Warriors without KD, they don't play the same offense, and they almost seamlessly put together that 2016 offense again, and with a snap of the fingers. And yes, it obviously helps the players you have. And I think that Mark Jackson, had he not been fired for whatever damn reason, like I don't know why Mark Jackson hasn't gotten a phone call yet. If he has done something completely terrible that we've not heard of, the coach that built Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green is right now commentating a damn game because he's been jobless for 3 years. I don't understand that. Do you? I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Frank Vogel has a job.
They're
Like,
given.
that isn't.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, and this can go for or against my argument for Steve Kerr being kind of underappreciated. The Warriors without KD are 24-1 this year when Steph plays. If we think the Warriors are going to fall apart if KD leaves this year,
Oh, they're not. They're
we're poorly mistaken, people. I will say this: Steph's ankles aren't going to last forever. Smaller point guards never last long. He's had 17 trillion high ankle sprains.
What is a high ankle sprain? I don't know.
I looked it up today because J.C. Treader for the Browns played on one all last year. It's regarded as more painful than a broken leg. And I'll tell you what, when Corey's sister hit me with a jet ski and broke my leg, it hurt a lot. So I don't want to know what a high ankle sprain feels like. Yes, that's a true story. Me and his sister got in a jet ski accident. Needless to say, not allowed to drive the jet skis at the lake anymore. But what do you think's going to happen with the Warriors post KD or next year when it's KD and no Clay?
If it's Steph and KD, if it's Steph and Clay, I think they're still a number 1 seed. Regardless, whichever one leaves, they're still a number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
There's not as much gap between them and the Rockets. If KD stays, I think the Rockets have more of a shot. I don't think they beat them, but I still think they have more of a shot.
If they lose Clay and keep KD?
Yes. If they lose,
Clay's
if they lose KD, if KD leaves, I think they're still at where they are now.
I think they might be better.
I think they're better with KD just because they play that different style.
Yeah, the more traditional ISO kind of new thing that everyone's doing.
I don't think you beat them. They go back to that 73 win Warriors team.
I think if they lose KD, they'll actually be better. Hear me out. You're gonna have 30-some million in cap space. You're still gonna have Steph. You're still gonna have Clay. You're still gonna have Draymond. Yes, those guys are gonna get paid a little more. But you're gonna tell me that if I'm just going through this undrafted free agent list, if you lose KD, you're gonna tell me Boogie isn't gonna want to come back and prove himself. You're gonna tell me Nikola Vucevic, which we haven't even talked about. It's gonna be interesting to see where he goes. He was really, 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 really good this year. Tobias Harris would fit that Warriors system amazingly. JJ Redick.
I think Brook Lopez would.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he can shoot now.
Yeah, what the hell happened with that? But that's something I wanted to say. I turned around and started watching the Warriors game, and I forget that
Brook Lopez is hitting threes.
I forget that Bogut is playing again. Like, if Bogut can play on this Warriors and be good, anybody in the NBA can play on these Warriors and be good. Clay is not. KD is a system of the Warriors. The Warriors are not a system because of KD. They were this before KD. KD wasn't this before the Warriors. KD leaves, he won't be as good. People seem to forget that. You go to New York with seamlessly nobody, he's going to have a piss poor season. comparatively.
If you lose KD this offseason, I think you go after Tobias.
Yeah, I can see that. Not as good as a defender as you usually want in the Warriors system, but they're seeming to go away a little bit more from defense and more work on I mean, it's still defensive strategy, but they're going away from their hard-nosed man-to-man defense, and they really focus more now on their switches, which more teams just need to focus on. Learn how to switch the damn pick and roll. But they're going after systematical players more than just we're faster, stronger.
Or you go Marcus Morris. You're not gonna pay him as much. You're not gonna have to. He's not gonna be as offensive as you'd like.
No, but he's just one of those cogs in any offense and defense.
Yeah, I think he'd be great.
Him and Draymond on the floor at the same time are gonna start they're gonna have some serious trash talk
and they sign Lance Stevenson.
Oh dear God. The first time he air guitars, you're gonna kick him out of Oracle.
All right, I think that's it. Did you have something else?
No, anything else you want to touch on? Prediction? Who's gonna finish this game? Right now, on my screen, it's a 7-point game, 6-point game.
Yeah.
Who do you think? Who do you got? I got Portland. They're pulling off.
Warriors.
Actually, I shouldn't say that. I haven't seen how they're shooting.
No, Warriors win the season. Warriors win the series easy. 5 games max.
Ooh, I'm going 7.
No.
7 game here, and I'm going 7 games in the East. I think Toronto is clearly better than the Bucks, but I don't think Toronto has enough firepower to just sweep people. If that makes sense.
Oh, Toronto doesn't. Toronto, I think, will at least lock Giannis at least 2 games.
Yeah, I know. Kawhi Leonard's gonna slow Giannis down. If you can stop LeBron, you can stop Giannis.
I think Giannis scores under 25 in at least 2 games.
They'll have some kind of defense set up for him, like a
6 games Toronto. I'm calling it.
Okay, so you got 5 games. Warriors.
Yep.
But John Collins just dunked. How are you gonna make them lose if John Collins just dunked?
Because Steph Curry is Steph Curry.
That's fair. All right. Thank you for joining me today, Cory. Like I said, go give him a follow on Twitter @Miller97. Hopefully, we'll be doing a lot more of these, just not starting so late.
Yeah, that was my bad.
No, you're good. I was at the dog park with my dog, but yeah, this was your episode 4 of the Dog Check podcast. Thank you for joining. All right. That's good.